Hi butterflies, welcome to my garden. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And now let's get into the video. Hi everybody, it's your girl Calypso and I am back again. So, do I do the song or do I not do the song? Screw it. I'm back again, I'm back again, I'm back again. Yeah, it is nice to actually get to do that song. I enjoy it. It just gets me going. So yeah, it's been a while and I'm back. And today I'm just gonna do a little story time. So, well, first of all, I know you've noticed the hair, the long straight hair. And yeah, this is inspired by Aaliyah, the late great Aaliyah, and especially with the new development, like in case for those who don't know, her estate has finally decided to release some of her discography, some of her catalog onto streaming sites. Not all of it, but just some of her catalog has been released onto streaming sites. So Spotify, whatever you use, yeah, they now have some of her catalog on there. So I've just been getting into Aaliyah and just been enjoying and reminiscing and, you know, nostalgic about my childhood, because for those in my generation, we grew up, you know, listening to Aaliyah and the old school R&B. So yeah, this look is inspired by Aaliyah. Rest in peace, baby girl. And this is also inspired by all the black Barbies that we have walking amongst us, you know, the Naomi Campbells, the Jessica Whites, and of course the Kenya Moores. So hashtag Black Girl Magic, okay? Yeah. So yeah, today I'm doing a little bit of a story time, but before I get into the main story, I'm just gonna give you a background. So for those who don't know, I'm of Nigerian descent, and I was born and raised there, and I left when I was about 16 to study in Malaysia. So Nigeria is in West Africa, and it's a country that's deeply rooted in religion. So there's a Christianity, and then there's also the religion of Islam. And these two religions were imported to West Africa by the missionaries. This was generations ago. This dates back. Excuse me. The cough is back. Oh my God. So this dates back to generations, and it was imported to West Africa by the missionaries as well as the Arab traders, the tradesmen. And there's also the indigenous traditional religion, or pagan religion if you may. Yeah, that has to do with idols and the deities as well. So you have the Orishas, like, you know, there's a popular one that has gone this sort of mainstream, like the Oshun, there's Shango, and all the others that so that's part of the indigenous traditional religion. And then there's yeah, so given those statistics, you can almost draw your own conclusion about what the likelihood of someone who's LGBT has of thriving in a place like that. So I'll just give you an answer. It's not, the odds are not very high for someone who's a child of the rainbow to thrive in a place like Nigeria. And it's the truth, because I come from there, and I don't live there anymore, thank God. But yeah, it's still very much a thing where there's a whole prison sentence attached to it and everything. So there's a long way to go. It's a long way to go in terms of acceptance. Excuse me again. So fast forward to me living in Malaysia, and I still attended church, and I was still pretty much, you know, going to church services back then. This was just a way of me maintaining a connection to my childhood, because I was raised Christian. I was raised, you know, conservative, go to church every Sunday, and sometimes on a weekday as well, on weeknights as well. So that's my background in religion. So I maintained going to church services when I moved over there in Malaysia, as a way of just maintaining that connection to my childhood. Now I don't really frequent church services as much now, but I still have that nostalgia sometimes. So like special occasions like Christmas Eve, I like to go to church just to listen to the Christmas carols, because it's just that one way of maintaining that connection, and it brings back so many beautiful memories for me anyway. So it's something that I've tried to continue to do on, Christmas Eve, reason for the season, all of that. So yeah, I say that to say, and also in addition to where I was living, to going to church service, I was mainly living in an area that was predominantly tenanted by international students, majority of whom were African, Nigerian, and yeah. So that was the area that I lived in during my time in Malaysia. And one of those days we were coming back from a church service, and after church most people just like to have a little fellowship outside before they go into their little vehicles and disperse back to their normal life. So a lot of the students and the international students and all the folks that I came to church with, what we do is we organize a bus that kind of picks us up from our area of residence and takes us to church and then brings us back, and that's it. So while waiting for the bus and we all just chit-chatting and talking, this dude spots me from like 30 feet away. And I don't think it was his first time seeing me. It was just his first time trying to approach me. So he just, tunnel vision, comes directly to me, and I'm like in the midst of everyone like chit-chatting, like, hey, what's going on with you, and what do you have in store for the week? Just mindless pleasantries that you have with your fellowship people. Anyway, so he just hones in and comes directly to me, and he's like, I want to talk to you. I'm like, me? Do I know you? Like, do I know you? And he's like, no, but I want to talk to you. Do you think that you and I can have a spiritual journey where we meet up to discuss and pray together? Because I think, and then I'm like, and then he goes on to say, because I think it's something that you can benefit from. Me benefit from a spiritual journey with you? Okay, so he was almost aggressive the way he did it. It was almost, and as soon as I sensed that aggression, my guards were up, my defenses were all the way up. So I'm looking around like, is anybody else noticing what this? Because I'm not by myself. I'm in the midst of people. So I'm like, is anybody else noticing what's going on here or seeing how strange this is? And everybody, all the saints were quiet. Nobody spoke up. Nobody said anything. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I know what I knew what was up, because it's not the first time that I've been singled out of a group and everyone has gone silent. All the saints were quiet. So I kind of had an intuition of what he was referring to. So I'm thinking, okay, whatever. I looked at him like, oh, whatever, honey. I just basically started to block him out, because in my mind, I'm thinking, if you're trying to galvanize me, into going on some kind of spiritual journey with you, this is not the way to go about it, brother, okay? And yes, he was a black dude, an African as well, specifically a Nigerian. Now, I'm not anti-Nigerian in any way possible, but I am just anti-BS, and I have no problems talking about the things and the hypocrisies of what I've experienced as well. So I looked around and everyone just went quiet, so nobody came to my defense, and I got really cold towards him. I gave him the coldest shoulders from then on, and he almost couldn't approach me anymore, because you can almost feel the ice. The ice was thick, the ice that I was serving. I was very icy and cold towards him, so he couldn't approach me anymore. He tried to approach me a second time, but I just basically stared him up and down like, eh. One time was cute, and you've used your free pass, but this is you're just weird, I didn't say that, but the look I gave him said enough, and he just kind of backed away as time went on. He left me alone, because, he started going around asking about me and trying to, I don't know, get my details from people. And it was just weird, like he tried to single me out. And it made me wonder, like, it's almost like he had some kind of ulterior motive or some kind of hidden agenda of trying to galvanize me into going on a spiritual journey with him. Why me? And I know what it is. I know what it is because, like I've said in my previous video, when you're black and you fall under the LGBT plus umbrella, it is so hard to vacillate between those identities within you. It's like, as a human, we're all multifaceted, you know? I'm a black girl, I'm trans, and I fall under the LGBT umbrella, LGBT plus umbrella. So, therefore, it is so hard sometimes to vacillate. It's almost like I have to pick, or you can be one or the other. So it's hard to kind of vacillate between the two. So therefore, it makes it so hard to socialize and to relate to people, especially when you know hands down that they are already judging you. They're already, you know, looking at me as inferior to them because of my identity and because of how I carry myself. You know, this is not a phase, this is not a put on, but I knew what he was doing, and it's very common. And it's not an isolated incident with me anyway, because it's something that has been is a pattern that has repeated itself throughout the course of my life so far. So I knew exactly what he was doing, and that was why I was so defensive and my guards were up with him. And so there's some people who would watch this and think that I am like, you know, anti-black, but again, like I said before, I'm not anti-black, but at the same time, I'm not going to pretend like everything is copacetic in the world, because it's not, especially within the African community, and it's easy for me to talk about the African community because that's been my experience. You know, I'm not white, I'm not Middle Eastern, I'm not you know, I only identify as a black girl because that's pretty much all I am, you know. So, but it's a recurring theme that happens within ethnicities and ethnic groups that are deeply rooted in religion, you know. It's so hard to be LGBT and ethnic, pretty much. It doesn't matter, it could be any ethnicity. But, you know, having said that, that was basically the beginning of my struggle between trying to have a spiritual journey for myself, trying to be a spiritual person, being African, and then being trans, you know? So that was basically almost like an awakening. Now that particular incident, I wouldn't say it was a pivotal moment, but it was just one of many awakenings that I started to experience as a young adult, you know, that kind of propelled me into taking on a spiritual journey that was not necessarily rooted in religion. Like, I still believe in God, and I still believe that Jesus loves me. I still believe that God loves me, trans and all, you know, but I am not going to live my life according to someone else's scriptures. And I'm not going to let anybody make me feel bad because I might sin differently to you, because it's not going to do anything for me. It doesn't do anything for me. It's kind of like taking a Panadol for someone else's headaches. So ultimately, my ultimate goal in my journey is, I just hope to live my life with a fortunate stroke of serendipity or something, you know? So I don't know how that dude is, and I don't know what he's up to, but yeah, I did some digging of my own. Well, back then, I did some digging of my own. And look, this is another thing that I've noticed within the African community. As soon as you're LGBT, you're seen as the worst of the worst. So, you know, you're seen as the worst of the worst. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Like, he could have committed sexual crimes. They will overlook it because he's not LGBT, you know? He could be a robber, but they will overlook it because he's not LGBT+. He could be a criminal. He could be a sexual assault predator. He could be think he could be a drug dealer. Let's start there. He could be all of these horrible things, but oh, at least he's not trans. He's not LGBT. He's not gay. You know? That's almost the lens through which a lot of Africans look through it. That's almost the lens that they used to see it. And it doesn't make any sense to me because I personally have had first-hand experience of people that think like this. And he was one of those people. I'm not going to go into his business and I'm not going to name his names, but yeah, it was just a hypocrisy for me anyway. But yeah, that was just a story time. Look, ultimately, the moral of the story is mind your business. As long as you're not hurting anyone, just mind your business, do good, be kind, and because you never know what someone is going through. And the thing is, the way he was so accusatory towards me, that just let me know that his intentions towards me weren't good. Spiritual journey. Spiritual journey. Well, oh well. It could have been someone who was vulnerable. Let's say I was vulnerable and I went on a spiritual journey with him and he took advantage of me. They would somehow put that on me if I came forward with a claim. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, moral of the story is be kind, spread love, mind your business. If you don't understand something or what someone is going through, here's a question. Ask them, befriend them, try to understand people. That's if the interest is there. But if the interest is there, if you don't have any interest in understanding somebody, understanding someone's journey, just leave them alone. Mind your business. You know, mind your business. It's no sweat off your back. Just mind your business. Anyway, that's my story of the day. You take of it what you will, but hey, let me know what you think of everything I just said. So until then, be kind to one another, spread love, keep the peace, and more importantly, protect your energy. And that's it for today. So fly high, my butterflies. Mwah, 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 mwah. And for those who are new to my channel, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video to whoever you think might be able to benefit from anything that I've said. And I'll see you soon. So bye.